It's going fine up here.
What?
He asked how it's going up here.
It's going good. Yep.
So we'll be diving to a depth of just almost 1,900 meters. We'll actually be landing close to a underwater ridge, and from that point where we land, that'll be just about the deepest part of our dive, because we'll be traveling up that ridge. We'll be collecting biological samples, water samples, and geologic samples as well. Great question coming in. We do use thrusters to help Hercules get to the bottom. Hercules is neutrally buoyant, which means Hercules, in theory, would stay just about wherever you put it in the water column. So we can use thrusters to ascend and descend. Thank you. Yep. Yep, thanks. And sometimes as we continue to pick up samples, we actually have to lose a little bit of ballast and lose some plates that we keep on the front deck as we pick up extra rocks and things. I was the graduation leader at kindergarten.
I have pictures at home.
Lily, you're on SPL.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks for asking. The weather wasn't too bad. We had just some waves and some wind that we couldn't quite operate in, but we're at a place now where we can dive. But you know, it wouldn't be ocean exploration if you didn't have some bigger waves every now and then.
You didn't have an ocean?
Yeah, especially if you didn't have an ocean.
Yeah, oceans come with waves sometimes.
Yeah, ocean exploration, just add water.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey Brian, how many listeners do we have?
We are rocking about 26 right now.
Ooh. Awesome. Where are they from?
Start of the dive. We have
some nice blue water.
Yeah. US, Australia, UK, New Zealand, Canada, Denmark, America, and Samoa, and Colombia and Austria.
Wow.
Shout out to our Colombian viewer. Don't see you very often. Encourage your friends. American Samoa, thanks for joining. We are in your neck of the woods, or in this case, the ocean.
Yes, Talafalava.
In case you ever wanted to know what amazing creatures and geologic features of beneath the waves around your islands and in the National Marine Sanctuary, we are helping solve that riddle, and we're glad that you're joining along with us to help us do it. So Hannah, we have a question coming in about what you think we might see when we reach this ridge.
Not entirely sure for this specific location. This is the first dive on the north side of Ofon Ulsenga, so we're not 100% sure if we expect to see similar things like we did at Swain. Maybe, maybe not. We're not really sure. It's our first time diving in this area, so we'll find out. To be determined.
Now, when you say first time, this is obviously the first time for us. Do you know of any other dives that have been conducted on this area? Or are we the first?
We're the first. The Okeanos did not dive Ofo Ulsenga, so that was a high priority for this cruise this time around. So we're excited to finally conduct an ROV dive here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Y'all are witnessing history. Hey, Bobby from Burbank, thanks for checking in. Thanks to you too, Texas.
Ian, we can hear you singing.
More singing.
That's hilarious. I'm so sorry.
Sometimes you just have a song inside and you gotta get it out.
Oh my goodness.
Gotta share it with the world.
Gotta share it. Let that light shine.
I was shut down earlier. I was singing a lot.
You did not want to hear what he was singing.
Oh, it was a beautiful song.
It was not that word.
Lily, you can tell the dive alert went out because we're up to over 100 viewers, and we've picked up some more countries. Taiwan, Brazil.
Taiwan.
Nice.
Also Brazil. I have family living in both of those areas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Our viewers in American Samoa, tell your friends what's going on right now. You're about to see something that's never had human eyes on it before, right off of the coast of your own islands. Sit around your Wi-Fi. Pull up the family tablet. Come explore with us. Oh, it worked. We just got one more viewer.
Woohoo.
Send it out on social media. Are we doing any fish transects on this one?
I believe the plan is, yeah.
Yes, we'll try to do some fish
Yes.
and benthic, as well as some 3D or some photo grids for some 3D photo mosaics.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this dive, we're gonna primarily be on top of this ridge, with the thought that that's probably where we'll see the most variety of organisms and the highest density. But we will also be on this western slope of the ridge, at least for the beginning of this dive. We may stay on it if we're seeing a lot of interesting organisms. If not, then we'll hop up onto the top of the ridge and stay on that for most of the dive. So we'll see what we see.
Nice. I'm excited to potentially see some more fish. I'm assuming there's, since we're on a ridge, there might be a bit of upwelling in this area. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Maybe.
It's
It
entirely
depends
possible.
on the prevailing currents in this area.
We've got a battle with American Samoa and New Zealand for number of viewers. Keep going, American Samoa. You're in the lead. Hello, New Zealand. It is happy Thursday to us because we are living in the past. You're a day ahead of us. Hello, Washington States. The length of this dive, good question. We're roughly planning about 12 hours or so. Depends on the weather.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a storm moving in on Friday. Friday here. So
Thursday?
Yeah, it's Thursday now. We get all... Whoa. Anthony, you have some video talent, my friend. That was blowing my mind.
I don't know what that was. Oh, it's better now.
It was interesting. Great question about the number of fish. We didn't see a whole lot of fish, and that was mainly because we were very deep. There's always the possibility that the fish, obviously fish are nectons and can swim wherever they want in the water column, so Hercules being as loud as it is, some of them could have just said, forget that, I'm going to go somewhere else. But you never know, because we can't tell you what could have been there before. Can't tell you if you don't see, or aren't there to see. Thanks for checking in, California.
Is that a bubble?
I think that was a jellyfish.
Jellyfish? Ooh, what's that?
Oh, what's what?
Something just
We
floated
saw
by.
a little something float by the camera.
Another maybe jellyfish, potentially?
Another one small thing on the left there.
Some zooplankton species passing by.
This is fun. Oh, there's another one of those fish things.
Tiny little guys. I think, yeah, see all these little straight ones? They're all little animals.
Oh, yeah, swimming around.
Oh, here's a little something on the right.
Thanks for that question. We don't really have any plans to go into port for the storm. Right now we're just gonna kind of wait it out, go around it.
Tough it out.
Yeah, it's not that bad of a storm.
It's
What?
not too bad. The ship
Nothing
can
we-
handle it
The
too.
storm.
Yeah, nothing we need to worry about.
It won't be too bad.
We'll just probably not be diving during that time.
Whoa.
Whoa,
Oh,
look at that.
jellyfish.
Oh, that was cool.
That was cool.
Keep those questions coming in. Thanks for that question, Alex from Canada. I'm glad that you watched the processing of our samples. Keep doing so. I can't tell you for sure whether we'll be able to have audio in the future. Typically we don't have audio on that, but you never know.
Oh yeah, I was on that.
Yeah.
It's cool. You can see some stuff on the sides.
Yeah, a little bit of.
Some
Oh, there's a
fish.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fish.
I will say that the data, when we're collecting and like storing samples, it's not like the audio probably isn't super exciting because we're mostly just like, what sample is this? What are the observations we're making? Once we get stuff in the wet lab, we are basically working to label everything, take extra observations about what it looks like now that it's out of water. We're taking photographs and then storing them in either ethanol, 95% ethanol for smaller samples, or we're freezing larger samples.
Another fish.
We've got a really nice -80
What's-
freezer
oh,
that we're
yeah.
able to stick stuff in.
Thanks for that question. There's still a possibility we'll be diving on our previous site that we didn't dive on this morning. We just have to wait and see. It depends on the weather. Even though we send down unmanned, remotely operated submersibles, those vehicles still rely on us right up here on top of the water on the Nautilus. So wind, current, waves are all factors that we have to take in consideration. If those get too high, we have to kind of wait and postpone, so we don't want to damage the ship or the vehicles, so we can continue to explore as much as possible. Think of it like if you have a remote control car, you probably might not be driving out in adverse weather conditions like rain, or if it gets too windy, you don't want to fly your drone. Same thing here, except these are a little bit more expensive.
Just a tad.
Just a tiny bit.
more.
Nope, right now, good question. This is only going to be roughly planned at a 12-hour dive. There's a possibility that we could go longer. Depends on the weather conditions. And hello to California. We're going to be diving just about 1,900 meters of depth. We'll be descending onto a ridge, and then we'll actually be ascending up the ridge as we explore, look for samples, sample the water column, sample geologic features and rocks that we have there, as well as sample some biologicals. And hello to you from Louisiana. Uh-oh, American Samoa. You gotta get some more viewers. New Zealand's tied with you. Share on social media. Call your friends. You're about to see something in your own backwoods that has never been seen before with human eyes. So Peyton, did the geologic samples go in the freezer as well? Just in case for microbes or what have you?
It depends. In some cases, we might break the rock fragments into smaller pieces if we're interested in microbes. In this case, the researchers in question wanted to look at the age of these rocks using argon dating is what I was informed. So we're actually going to be drying out those rocks and then just preserving them in bags to then be sent to the University of Rhode Island. Yeah. But all our biological samples do get frozen. Other samples, like push cores, will either be frozen or refrigerated depending on sort of what the focus is, because that can depend from dive to dive.
Nice. Summer or Scott, we have a question coming in about what is our current rate of descent?
30 meters a minute.
Nice. That's pretty good. Pretty good speed.
We'll be on bottom in roughly 51 minutes.
Great question coming in. Thanks for tuning in when we were looking for the Samoa Clipper. We did not find the Samoa Clipper, and we don't have any plans to, the moment, to dive back again in the area and continue to look for it. However, the Area Sea Heritage Foundation has vowed to continue the search, and I'm sure is already in the beginning stages of planning their next expedition to the area to continue to search. I don't have any knowledge of what those plans may be, but Russ Matthews and his team, they're a pretty dedicated group, so I would expect to continue to see or hear something hopefully again in the future. Hey Rob, glad you were able to join us as you finish off your night. Ooh, do we drink a lot of coffee on board?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on who you are. Some of us don't drink coffee.
I don't drink coffee at all.
Me either. I like tea. And there's a lot of good tea on board.
There is.
Yeah, so we all have our secrets, but yeah, coffee is definitely consumed in ample amounts.
Absolutely.
And we also sustain ourselves off of the rush of exploration.
That really sustains me throughout the long nights.
Yes.
It's exhilarating.
It is. Absolutely
and Scott
exhilarating.
singing.
Oh,
We do.
his song about cornflakes?
There's a cornflake song, and we missed it.
Whoa, whoa. Oh,
Shrimpy.
see that red thing that we just passed?
I think it was
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I saw a little glimpse of it.
like a shrimp.
Summer has a very interesting song about incandescent and LED bulbs and the trade-offs between the two.
No. Let's let the professionals do the music. That is not Scott nor I.
Something like
All you have to have is a song in your heart, Summer.
Tina Ford
Nah.
probably?
Nah.
Okay.
You have auto heading on?
I do.
You do? Okay. Might want to turn it off. We're just fighting each other, trying to stick to a heading. Different current
cool.
down here.
This is another cool jelly.
I think that was a cool jelly.
Yeah,
I think it was
like
gelling.
some sort of.
Like a felon.
Scott, on the
Yes.
sonar, how big are the contour lines? Like, sorry, not contour lines.
10-meter division on
On
the sonar
her?
on the right, and 20-meter division on the sonar on the left.
So on the right is Hercules, and on the left is Argus.
Great questions coming in. We have, let's see, over 100 viewers at the moment, and we continue to get quite a few viewers from all over the world. You never really truly know what you're going to get in terms of viewership. We always ask that you continue to kind of share on your media channels and with your friends our exploration. We love to see people from all over, because we enjoy sharing the exploration with everyone, regardless of where you're from.
Oh,
There's a
something
fish that
went
just
by.
started by.
Another great question. I don't know what the longest time we've been out to sea is. We're typically at, what, 3 weeks? We're able to supply ourselves for about 3 weeks before going back into port.
The limitation is on food. It's
Yeah.
not on the ship's capacity for fuel and stuff like that. And so it's just going to be limited by how much food storage we have on board.
I think that's...
So I think it's a couple weeks max to a month.
So we can be out here a little bit. Now if we all only eat saltines, then we might be able to be out longer, but...
If we've started packing all the common spaces with canned foods, we could be out quite a long time.
Yeah. But we're not out to sea without going to port months at a time. Definitely not. Yeah, thanks for sending that in. We are hoping to see a lot more biological diversity as well. Only time will tell.
What's that little red thing?
Just a little speck.
Oh, fish.
Oh,
Fish.
hello.
Whee.
So just a fun fact that I know I've shared on the stream before, but one of the reasons why we see a lot of red and orange animals at depth is because blue light tends to be scattered in water, so water absorbs red and orange wavelengths of light while scattering blue, which is why it looks blue even at deeper waters or even when you have a large container of it. And so on the flip side, red and orange get absorbed really quickly, and so organisms that are colored red or orange are actually camouflaged in the water column. It's a lot harder to see them because they appear as gray or black or just like their surroundings. So a lot of creatures use that as a form of camouflage. Another type of camouflage you'll see, especially in creatures living in the water column, is something known as counter shading. Ooh, that's something. Past it. So counter shading is a form of coloration where your back is really dark and your stomach, or like the lower section of the organism, is lighter. And so when you're looking up at the brighter surface of the water, and so it camouflages in with that lighter underside. And when you're looking down, the top of the animal is darker and it camouflages with the darker water below. So for example, a lot of sharks do this. Orcas are one really distinct example of that, where they're dark at the top and light on the underside.
Penguins.
A lot of fish, penguins do that. So it's a very good way to help camouflage yourself or make yourself more difficult to see in the water.
That's cool.
Now,
Yeah.
Peyton, can you explain why we see the colors that we see?
Like right now?
Not just blue, but like in general.
Okay, so basically our eyes have rods and cones in them, which are basically sensory, attached to nerves that let us see different wavelengths of light. For our eyes, that's going to be, I think, red, green, blue light. Let me check. Yeah, red, green, blue.
RGB.
Yeah, and so everything is some component of red, green, and blue that then gets filtered by your brain and processed into light. So when we see like the visible wavelengths of light, we're processing anything on that like red, green, blue spectrum. There are other wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation, also known as light, that we can't see. So like microwaves, radio waves, UV. there are other animals that are adapted to see that, but we as humans can't because
They're
we're
outside the
limited.
color
Yeah,
spectrum.
we're limited by the spectrum of light that we're able to see.
Another fun fact about like human eyes and actually ears too, we see on a logarithmic scale, and that's why we can see so many colors, whereas a camera takes a photo on a linear scale. So like a problem that we have at sea is we have beautiful sunsets and we're trying to take pictures of the sunsets, how we see them, but a camera physically cannot capture all of those colors at one moment. It has to focus on a certain linearity of the spectrum and of the light source. So it is not possible to capture light and dark, even though we might be able to see something bright and something dark at the same time.
That's super cool. Thank you, Lily.
Yeah.
Keep sending in those questions.
Brian, was that a viewer question or were you just asking me?
Peyton, would I ever just ask you a question?
All the time.
Yep. I know you like talking about it so much, so I thought you gave people a little taste of how the eyeball works. Thought you wanted to go a bit deeper. And
oh my gosh, there's
share the
also
rest
a
of
really
it.
cool trick that you can do that I learned in my biology class, where your eye has a blind spot where your brain basically just fills in whatever's there.
It uses the other eye to fill in the...
Yeah, but there's this experiment where you can take a Post-it note, sorry, not a Post-it note, like an index card, and on one side of it you draw like a circle, and on the other side of it you draw like a star, and you like start bringing it close to your face, and then there's this certain point, I think it's the retinal focal length, where that image goes right over where your retina is, or sorry, not your retina, your nerve, your optic nerve, and so your brain doesn't actually process anything there because there's no photoreceptors right over the nerve, so it just looks white. Like where there was this like black dot before, now there's just this white space, and it's because your brain is constantly tricking you into thinking that there's something there. It's so cool. Because like otherwise you would constantly be seeing like this hole in your vision. It's sort of the same way that your brain filters out your nose when you look at stuff, but when you stop and think about it, you can see it in the peripheral of your vision.
I see you, nose. Question coming in. I don't think anything's wrong with our slurping device. I think we're good to go. We've slurped up some samples in our previous dive, and most likely we'll be doing more again. We had a little bit of debris in one of them, but that's corrected, and that happens anytime that you slurp up a sample. It's a coral rubble sample, coral rubble. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm assuming they're talking about the like piece that we pulled off the rock.
Yeah, we're gonna assume, our viewer, that you're talking about our last dive. So Peyton, upon further analysis, was it in fact pieces of coral that had since been broken apart?
It did certainly look like it. From the bottom of the piece that we pulled off, so in corals there's usually an accretion disc, which is this area that they use to stick onto surfaces. When we pulled that off the rock, what we saw underneath was white, so it wasn't like the manganese crusting that we were seeing over the surface, which turns everything black. It was actually like a white skeleton, and areas that had been chipped away as we were moving it were also white as well. So I think our best guess is that it is a coral skeleton, but it needs to be analyzed further.
That had been covered in manganese.
Yeah. What I really wish we had done is taken several samples in a few sites because there were so many of those coral branches that were lying in different parts. And so if we had taken a few samples, we maybe could have dated them to see if all of the corals there died at the same time, or if it was just from like buildup of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years of coral growth.
Oh, Hercules only has so much space, young Padawan.
Next time. But maybe an interesting question for scientists to keep looking into the future.
Well, question coming in about what terrain we're expecting to see as we get down there, and you know, this is a volcanic island change, so I would expect to see some volcanic rock pretty similar to what we saw in our last dive. We'll be on a ridge, so I'm sure there will be a little bit of sediment and things like that have accumulated, but expect it to be probably rocky. Great question though, guys. Keep them coming. We have some time. We're descending at a rate of about 30 meters a minute, and we are going to a depth of just about 1,900 meters before we land on a ridge and go up an ascent.
Just to jump in, Brian, I think the full depth is actually going to be about 2,300 meters. So we still got about 1,000 meters left to go.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
You're fine either way, my friend. I'm just going off the dive plan. It is the one that is hot off the press.
Yeah, we're supposed to, that's a typo. We're supposed to start at T1 waypoint, which is at 1,898 meters.
I stand corrected. It is 1,900 meters. I was looking at the wrong point.
Score 1 for Brian.
Brian was right this entire time.
We're all in this together.
High School Musical?
Yes. I've never witnessed that.
Oh, good for you.
Really? You haven't?
No.
We're all in this together.
I know some of the
When
songs
did that
from
even
it,
come
but I've
out?
never
Oh,
actually
back on
watched
us,
it.
I didn't have
10
cable
years
growing
ago, I
up.
guess.
It was a long time ago. I was at a summer camp, and I had 11-year-old girls, and they did not know what High School Musical was. I think 1 or 2 of them did, but
Wow.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, I know it exists, but
That's
I
how
can't
Zac
tell you
Efron
what
became.
happened other than they were probably singing in some type of high school settings.
Yeah.
That's where my limit of knowledge ends. And Peyton, I'm assuming the accretion disk wasn't covered in manganese because it was in between the coral and the rock it was on, so there was no way for it to be, I guess, reached.
Yeah, that'd be correct. It's still really interesting because there's just so many of those like coral branches down there too. I think at first we thought a lot of them were like, oh, there's another jellyfish. I think at first we thought a lot of it was maybe like plant matter or debris, but I think on closer inspection, a lot of it looked a lot more like corals. Yeah, I'm just really fascinated by the fact that we found that much down there.
Question to the group from viewers. Favorite ocean-related movie?
Ocean-related movie.
Finding
I don't know
Nemo.
that I have one.
honestly.
Oh yeah.
Moana?
Finding Nemo. Oh, Moana.
I might have to
not
say
Moana's
Finding
really good.
Nemo.
Yeah, I loved Moana.
I love the way
Or Blue
everything
Planet.
looks in that movie.
Blue Planet's
Blue
like,
Planet's
uh,
great.
I
I still
love
haven't
Blue
watched Blue
Planet.
Planet 2 because I
I
don't have
don't-
Netflix.
That's not a
I've
movie,
seen
man.
one of them. I know.
What's not a
technically.
movie?
Blue
Documentary
Planet.
series.
It's
a
great. It's
documentary.
not a movie.
This is
Hey,
true. This is true.
hey.
Out of the
I
recent
don't
ones,
know.
I think
I'd have to
Moana.
say Finding
Yeah.
Nemo.
Moana, like just
Moana Finding
There's
the
Nemo.
way
Finding
it
Dory.
looks.
Ooh,
everything
Finding
in
Dory was
Moana's
really
amazing.
good. Yes.
That was really good.
I started it, but I didn't finish it.
Finding Dory?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
it
it's so
it just didn't seem. It wasn't.
Did you forget to finish?
I did. I stopped and paused, and
So
then
Dory
I never came
got
back.
found?
Dory's still lost somewhere because you did not finish
Yeah,
watching
I
it.
need
Well,
to
that's okay.
finish
She
it.
just keeps swimming.
It's a sweet movie, I think.
I have
just
to
has-
finish
That's
it.
cute.
I usually I'll give a
She just
movie a
has short
fair shot
attention
and at least finish
span.
it. So I gotta go
Couldn't
back at
finish
some
it.
point and finish it.
When Finding Dory came out, I was working at a little aquarium in San Luis Obispo,
Oh.
and I went and saw it, and then I went to work the next day, and I started talking to my boss about it. He's like, yeah, I saw it with my kids, and it made me really mad because they portrayed, like, California water as so, like, polluted, whereas it's not actually that polluted. It's just very murky because it has so much sediment in it because
all
of
the
the
upwelling.
currents and upwelling on the coast. So it looks different than the water we have here. It's more of a teal color, and it has the whole kelp forest, and it's like has more sediment in it, but it's not actually dirty, like as dirty as they portrayed it to
I'm
be.
not-
Yeah.
It's not dirtier than other
Yeah.
parts of the ocean.
Okay.
I'm not super happy about how they portrayed echolocation in Finding Nemo 2.
Yeah.
Or it's
Yeah.
just a little like
Although it was
Well,
for
hilarious.
Finding Dory. It was just
I'll
It was
have
cute.
to finish it.
It was
I want to
cute.
see the part where
Yeah.
she's in California.
Also, I think it's kind of funny because they went to Morro Bay, which is right central California coast, right by San Luis Obispo.
Yep.
And it's like this huge bay, and they have sea lions and otters in it. You can go kayaking and everything, but there is not an aquarium there.
No. I was thinking it was based off of like Monterey
Yet.
Bay or something.
Monterey
Yeah.
Bay or Long Beach, I think it's like a
Yeah.
combination,
Yeah.
so they split the difference.
Not based
Yeah.
on the real thing.
But yeah,
What's your challenge, Lily? Bring an aquarium.
build an aquarium.
Build an aquarium.
In
Yeah.
Morro
You gotta
Bay.
build an aquarium
I
in
think
Morro
they
Bay.
have a little tiny one.
I feel like they also couldn't like base it off a real aquarium because that would have gotten a
Probably.
little bit questionable.
Yeah.
But they chose the place.
They chose a real place, though.
Yeah, a real place.
Yeah.
But the otters are there, and they're so cute. You do see them, and you just want to go up and, like,
A
cuddle
raft
them.
of otters.
Yeah. So I like how they portrayed the otters in the
Yeah.
Oh,
sea
and the sea lions.
Have
because
you
that
seen-
was,
Mine.
it's very,
Was that the
very,
sea lions?
no, that's
No,
the
no,
sea
those
seagulls.
are
seagulls. Sorry.
Summer, what do you call a group of
The-
seagulls? Is it just a flock?
I don't know.
The sea lions are the ones that are like off.
Summer.
Yeah, oh,
In the
that's
movie.
right. That's so cute.
It's very
She's taking notes right now.
What's up?
I said, do you know what a group of seagulls is called? Is it just a flock?
You know, I don't have my book with me, but I mean, yeah, birds flock. I don't know, but there are a lot of different names for groups of different birds, so I cannot confirm nor deny that I know the answer.
I'm sure Brian will know the answer in about
Oh.
a minute.
Yeah. Googled it.
What? No.
It just takes a while to remember
a
it.
group of seagulls
Yeah.
is actually called a colony.
A colony.
Colony of seagulls.
Seagulls.
What about a group of sea lions?
Ooh.
Is that a colony as well?
Let's find out.
It is.
Oh, whoa. Depending on where they are, if they're on land, they're a colony. If they're in the water, they're called a raft. And during breeding, they're referred to as a rookery. And when several females are in one male's territory, they're called a harem.
Yeah, that's how. Have you ever heard of like how sea lions are during mating season?
No, we don't have sea lions in American
Okay.
Samoa, so I don't know anything
The
about
They
that.
males beef up.
Yeah, they're so huge.
Massive.
Like the females are like maybe 200-300 pounds, and then the like males are at least 1,000.
They're,
Ah.
yeah, significantly larger.
Yeah, and they
Just for mating season, or like they're
just like period.
in,
They're
yeah, in
huge.
general.
And so during mating season, they'll actually like basically try and defend an area of the beach, and basically they will fight off every other male that's in the area and be like, hey, this is my
They're pretty
turf.
aggressive.
You
Is
can't
it the
get in
same
here.
as like the elephant
Elephant seal?
seal? Like
I
the
think
same
so. I think
situation?
they do something similar.
Because I watched that whole situation
Yeah.
in
And then
California, and I was like, wow,
They
this
keep
is
a bunch
nuts.
of females in the area.
Yep.
But
That's
usually
called harem.
because like the males are spending so much energy fighting off other males, the ones that are in charge tend to die really quickly. Or at least then get replaced by like another male. And so they're always like fighting.
That is crazy.
Yeah, there are also like smaller males that look like the females that will like sneak in because they look like the like they're smaller like the females, so they manage to get in. And it's just like, I don't know, sea lion mating is wild.
For sure.
It's really wild.
I'll have to watch
Literally
this.
in the
That's
wild.
literally.
Also true.
Squids, after they mate, they lay their eggs and they all die. So you'll see, like I know off Catalina Island, if you go, I don't know how deep, maybe about 100 or so feet, the whole seafloor will be covered in dead squid. Because after they mate, they all die.
Wow.
Put all their energy into it.
Anglerfish are also very interesting.
Oh yeah, the male like
Oh.
attaches.
It's absorbed.
Yeah,
it gets-
the
yeah.
female is the huge one that everyone knows, and the male one is actually like the size of a quarter or smaller, depending, because
And
they
he'll
adapt it
permanently
differently.
fuse
Yeah,
to
so
the female.
yep, he
Mates
bites
for
on,
life.
permanently fuses, and his body essentially decays,
Whoa.
and he just sits there until he's needed for reproduction.
What?
And so one female, like the giant anglerfish female, can have like, I think they found one with up to 20 males on her.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know multiples
her
could
young.
attach. I
Yeah.
thought it was only after one attached, then they were good.
Well, when you find,
I guess you find more, you find more.
yeah.
I mean, like especially in the deep
I mean,
sea,
in the
where
deep
like
sea, where the
Yeah,
you're not gonna.
it's rare.
You might find another
One,
anglerfish
yeah.
like once in your lifetime.
so you gotta
This is
mate.
true.
You gotta mate for life.
Gotta mate for life.
Wow, they are. Those anglers
Far
are
and
loyal.
few between. Wow, that's interesting.
So what's our current depth, Scott?
1,654 meters
Awesome.
and counting.
We're getting close. We're going to 1,898.
Yes.
Yes, I know that. I wrote it down.
0.7694.
Oh, 0.76. Oh, I forgot that part. My bad.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I'm
God,
slacking off here.
Yeah.
It's my job too.
It
Have
was
you
in the
guys-
dive plan,
oh.
so I made note of it.
You find the depth helpful.
Yes. Yeah.
All the buttons.
We don't have enough buttons here
Oh,
in the control
fish.
van.
Oh.
Fish? I missed the fish.
He went by quick.
Goodbye.
There are a lot of buttons. I think I figured out what almost all of the buttons by me do.
It's part of the joy of working
Is
here.
it
There's like
really
a knob. I don't
satisfying
quite
to
know what
just press all the
it does, but
Yeah, you should definitely fiddle around with that just to
That's-
see how it goes.
that seems safe. Anthony, you'll fix it if I break it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? All right. 12 to 4 watch is signing off.
Signing off. Bye, everyone.
Adios.
Tofa soifua.
Good question if we came across any sunken wrecks. You know, it really depends on what it would be and what our dive mission was. We might briefly take a look at it as we continue our mission, but we wouldn't be rating it for any type of goods or things such as that.
Hello everybody, this is Valeria in the communications, and we have all the 4 to 8 watch ready here.
Hi, Valeria.
Hey Ave, how are you? Georgia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So we have a question about a viewer that has heard of sea stars, starfish, brittle stars, butt stars, and rose stars. And what is the correct terminology for this echinoderms? And I guess it's a different species, right?
I always say starfish. I wonder whether I think you can use either sea star, starfish, but brittle stars are different to basket star. Is different to so there's different groups within the echinoderms, and so this is why we have scientific names in science so that everyone can use the same Latin name, which is the genus and species, so that these common names, because they can get confused, but everyone's using the same Latin scientific name.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we are descending a little more than 1,800 meters of depth, very close to Ofu and Olinga Islands in the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa. In channel 1 you can see what our ROV Hercules shows us with the main camera. Channel 2 is showing Hercules from Argus camera, and in the quad you can have a view of our screens here in the van. Welcome to this adventure. We have a very, very serious question. I don't know if we will be able to answer this, but I'm going to give it a try anyways. So this is a species classification question. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Okay. Are you sure?
I mean, it's just one man's opinion.
Perfect.
Is a hoagie or a submarine a sandwich?
Oh, that's a good question.
There's the bottom.
Yay!
Just in time for our watch.
Perfect. Good timing. This is great. Yeah, you're right. Next expedition is a very special expedition on Amelia Earhart's airplane. If you're interested in finding more information about it, please refer to our website. We have some information there that is going to link you also to the National Geographic website, because this is an expedition, a scientific expedition that is jointly funded by the National Geographic Partners and National Geographic Society. And we are very happy that the Ocean Exploration Trust is part of this. So we have a question about if there are fish that have both sexes. I know that there are fish that are born masculine then turn into feminine.
Yeah, so a lot of reef fish will be born
female, sorry.
Yeah, one, and then they will shift.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if any fish can be both genders. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not quite sure. I think they either switch sex or, yeah, but they gonna do some research on that.
Yeah, I've only really looked at reef fish where they start as one sex and then they'll change during their lifespan, which can make fish ID a little challenging, because often that means that they'll change color as well, change pattern too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Video, you want to do white balance?
Yeah, like.
What countries do we have watching so far, Valeria?
Oh, let me check. So we have the United States, Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Canada, Turkey, Sweden, Colombia. Welcome, Colombia. Love when we have Latin American countries. Brazil, Austria, and of course, American Samoa.
Yay. Hi, everybody.
Hello. And hello, Oklahoma. Thanks for following us.
So where are we navigational wise and where are we headed?
Okay, go ahead and zoom.
Pretty broad question. We are at waypoint 1 and we will be heading to waypoint 2.
Thanks. That's very informative.
Yeah.
Do you have any more details there, Miles?
We are on the north side of this island and on the side of this little hogsback. So we need to climb up to the top of the ridge and then we will sort of follow the top of the ridge, waypoint to waypoint.
Nice.
Fantastic
Hello,
answer.
Armenia. Welcome. Thanks for following
Go ahead.
us. That's great. So we are a little north from Ofu, apparently.
Roger. Yep. Say anything?